Our next reader is author Vincent Jorgensen. He's a writer and engineer living in the epicenter of Silicon Valley. He has been a stay-at-home dad, a microchip designer, and a science fiction class instructor at UC Berkeley. Vincent loves languages and can speak French and Spanish, as well as read Latin and Greek. He loves to travel and once penned a short story during a hurricane in Mexico. Please welcome Vincent Jorgensen.
Hello? Testing? Testing? Testing. Is that good? A little closer to the mic?
Yeah.
All right. Hi there. What I'm going to be reading tonight is the introduction to my current work in progress. It's a satire set in the Silicon Valley. And the title is Pood. While driving north on Central Expressway, the West Tower comes into view first, perfectly framed between a redwood tree and the center median and a street lamp on the overpass. It's a bent spire of shimmering glass, and while Gaudi Sagrada Familia is claimed as the inspiration, this wasn't built as a tribute to the Almighty, unless the Almighty lives in a multi-acre private estate in Woodside. After going under the overpass, the East Tower dominates the horizon. Its exterior is also armored in glass, albeit in a different form. Fiber optic tubing was woven through every strut and into every window. And at night, it lights up like a geyser, the patterns and colors varying with the season. Sometimes, disco balls and people dancing in the cubicle aisles can be seen behind its semi-open windows. Employees are said to call it il pene, which is penis in Italian. Il pene has a digital clock on its side, right where one might expect the foreskin to end if it were a circumcised penis. Its larger-than-life LCD always shows the time. Oh, wow. Oh, that's different. Whoa.
Make love to the mic.
Its larger-than-life LCD always shows the time of 8:08 in crimson red, which is Bob in LCD speak. Robert Novarque, the founder and CEO of the company, always insisted on being called Bob. The Quicksilver News once reported that during a press conference on the upswing in the local economy due to Bob's company's enthusiastic hiring practices, the Treasury Secretary personally thanked Mr. Novarque, and Bob now no longer returns Mr. Geithner's calls. But this was just a rumor, as hard to confirm as whether NASA put men on the moon or if there are such things as quarks and strings. The one rumor about Bob that could be tested scientifically concerned his clock. Did it ever change time? Despite employing a large team of internet scrubbers whose job was to censor anything negative about the company, an obscure server in the Ukraine continued to host pictures of what allegedly happened at 1152 Reefer Drive on Christmas at midnight. Nathan was only one of hundreds who were interested in empirically verifying this rumor. He pulled alongside the expressway behind a long line of cars and other die-hard fans who had given up a night of Santa Claus in sleep. Tonight, they hoped not for presents from a jolly white-bearded man, but from skinny, bald Bob. For 4 years since the towers were built and the company went public, the local newspapers never published anything about what happened at midnight. Last year, trying to be funny, the Quicksilver News put up what was supposed to be a photo of the tower, but Santa Claus was photoshopped over it, his sled flying by and blocking the view. The newspaper had been in decline ever since, as most of their large advertisers inexplicably terminated their contracts. Nathan was an hour early, but the parking lots below the spires were already full. The young foliage planted along the shoulder meant that he wouldn't get a complete view from the side streets, so he risked the emergency lane. Then he tuned his radio to 100.1 FM. It was normally, it wasn't a station with a regular broadcast, but it was the month of Bob's birth in binary. A cop pulled up behind him, and Nathan was afraid he's going to get a ticket for parking in a major expressway, but the cop dimmed his lights too and waited for Bob's message. Below the towers was a castle made of tons of imported Spanish marble and granite. This was the main corporate office and was where the corporate logo was mounted. The first letter was a capital red, P, that followed by 2 O's, lowercase, in blue, while the E and the D in the yellow. The bar dot slash at the end of the D, in green, was copyright protected and known as the trademark L. Nathan wasn't much younger than Bob, and Bob and Nathan's life paths used to cross more frequently, since they both graduated from the same Mountain View High School. Nathan remembered meeting Bob once. once. It was in high school, it was at a football game, and Nathan let the lanky, already balding computer lab shut-in cut in front of him so that Nathan, an aspiring track star, could flirt with the cute freshman in the concession line. Bob graduated the following year to little fanfare. He wasn't valedictorian or famous or student body president. And Nathan dated that girl, broke up with her, dated her again, and his senior year caught her cheating with the captain of the cheer squad in Nathan's car. Nathan also graduated without honors too. Bob dropped out of college to found a startup. It failed. But he founded 3 more before Nathan completed his 5-year undergraduate degree. Now Bob had 6 honorary degrees from 5 schools he never took a class at, and Nathan had 1 degree from a school that hated him while he was there, but now couldn't stop sending him mailers for alumni donations. And Bob's Spanish wife was smoking hot, while Nathan hadn't had a date that led to kissing, much less coitus, in over 2 years. As midnight approached, all eyes along the expressway were on the East Tower. The rightmost lane crawled and then stopped. Nobody honked. Everyone turned their lights off, and even the inside door jar lights were turned off in sequence, as if an unseen hand waved itself over the cars in an act of reverse creation. At exactly midnight, and for 11 seconds afterward, the tower's eternal glimmering stopped, and the digital clock changed its time. 8:08 was replaced by D-O-G. On the radio, the static was briefly interrupted by a chorus of barking dogs singing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." After the first bar, the background radiation returned. The giant P of the logo blinked, then blinked, and then blinked, passed through all the colors of the rainbow, and then stayed red, but a brighter red than before. Bob had spoken. Nathan had to wait for almost an hour as the cars leaving Poodle's corporate headquarters emptied onto the expressway. The ramp was built only a year ago at the city's expense so that the Poodle employees could have their own private entrance, and the traffic lights always gave priority to the cars entering and leaving the campus, regardless of the hour of day. Poodle is the most successful internet startup in the Silicon Valley. It not only survived the dot-com crash of the early aughts, but was now poised to become the most profitable company in the world. The BMW in front of Nathan proudly bore Poodle logo wear, and Nathan was tempted to follow him, if only to find out what it was like to work for a company that paid ridiculous salaries and treated their employees like spoiled children. Instead, he drove his gremlin back to his cul-de-sac apartment and continued studying topics he had faked in college and was struggling to fake his way through now. His Poodle interview was next Monday.